450 CASE Dozer. It's a, don't really know what year it is. A friend of mine bought this dozer from another friend of mine, and they need it moved. And Chad is following us with a wrecker. He's going to use it to pull it up on the trailer. They came up to try to get it going to just drive it up on the dozer, drive the dozer on the trailer, but noticed that the oil they were dumping in the transmission kept running out to where the final drive bolt's on, and apparently there's some broken bolts. I haven't seen it, but hopefully it will go smoothly climbing up there on the trailer with the wrecker pulling it. So that's going to be our first game plan, is to just see if we can drag it up on there and see how that goes. But anyway, hopefully it all goes smoothly, and we get this thing loaded up and get it back to where it can fix those bolts and reseal the final drive, put it all back together, and hopefully it'll move on its own. Hopefully no internal damage happened when this final drive issue came along. So, but anyway, we'll take you along for the ride. We'll check out some of the scenery here along the way. Alright, here we are fixing to winch this little 450 up on the trailer. What Chad did was back his wrecker under the gooseneck hitch. He's got a ball hitch on the end of his wheel lift unit. So he slid that thing out and slid it up under the gooseneck ball, latched it on so that that's all set in steel for him. Then we've got the cable fixing to come out here. It's coming out right now. And we'll attach it. That way he's going to use two lines with that, and we can kind of help steer it a little bit. And it did a really good job of getting it up on there, and worked out really well. On a side note, this is the last thing this trailer hauled before it got turned into a hydraulic dovetail with a step deck on. So you can see these ramps. I really do like a pull-out ramp, and you can see here how nice that is. I have to fight them, but they just weren't strong enough to hold my excavator. My excavator was starting to bend them just a little bit, and they were a little bit aggravating to get out of the pockets too. The way the pin held them in, they were pretty frustrating. So in addition to that, the neck was a little bit short for a pickup. It worked good on the flatbed truck. On a pickup, it would try to get into it. So we just kind of thought, this would probably be a good one to cut apart and adjust up a little bit. And there were several little issues with it. One additional one was the pockets on the side. They had flat bar, 1/4x4 flat bar welded to the ends of all the cross members, and with that going on, it made the trailer exactly 8 feet wide, which is okay, but you can't put pallets side by side on there and still get to your pockets very well. And the flat bar was not strong at all. If you bumped the rub rail, it would just bend. It would push the pocket right on in with the flat bar, and it just made it hideously ugly. And they didn't put pipe spools between them, so it wasn't stabilized well. And I think that trailer is like a 97 model trailer, so it was ready for a little facelift. So anyway, here you can see see it on its last little mission there before it kind of went under the knife, and real excited about how it's turning out now. It's going to make a really handy trailer. But anyway, back to the dozer. Here they are getting ready to make the breakover point, and then it was a lot easier winching from then. So I hopped up in the truck to kind of give it some more RPM so that you could winch it a little easier. They have a little bypass problem with hydraulic motors in the winches. And just yesterday, Chad sent me a picture of another wrecker he picked up, so that it has a Holmes unit on it. He's going to probably the winches off it. This one I think is 12,000 pound winches, and again they're bypassing pretty bad, so he's really needing to do something there. And the one he found has 2 15s in it, so it's on a nice little 2-ton F800. So that'll be a little bit better for him, and things work out real good. Here we are getting ready to get the wrecker out of the way and get the Cummins pulled back in spot. And I tell you, Chad really came through on that. Without that wrecker, we couldn't have done it. And Another thing I probably should mention too, there's something that we didn't film because it was kind of wild crazy on the spot. The where this machine was sitting was kind of at the back of this lot, and it was a kind of stuck in there. It had been sitting there for a lot of years, and dirt filled up all of the track chains on it, where stuff had been pushed around it. They had done some excavating around the dozer, and dirt got in the between the pins and bushings in the track chain and set up. Just from years of rain, and so it was just kind of hard in there, and we wouldn't allow the dozer to roll. So when the sprocket would come around, it would try to fall in those voids, and there was no void for it. And it would stretch the chain tight, and it would just take off sliding when the wrecker pulled on it. So we ended up having to take bars and dig out all the dirt from those track chains to get all that cleaned out, and which is another reason that we're kind of here. You'll see in a little bit washing the machine, washing it before we really get started working on it. You've been sitting in the dirt for a while, and kind of easier to work on, and a lot easier to wash when it's sitting up on a trailer. So you'll get to see that here in just a minute. But anyway, we're getting this thing all strapped down and the truck all hooked up and getting ready to take off here shortly. So, but again, I really appreciate Chad coming through and helping us out with that wrecker. It really made that job a lot nicer. This little trailer has a 8,000-pound electric winch, and I really doubt it would have done much good on that dozer trying to get it up on there. So, really thankful for that, and everything seemed to go well getting it up on there. Also had to throw some air in those other side tires on the offside passenger side. They were, when they look great empty, but when we threw that dozer on there, it's a little bit leaning toward that side. We felt a little better about throwing some air. And of course, Chad that's an air brake truck, and he had it all set up to have air hose on it. So really worked out well, and I really appreciate all the help there. So there's Mr. Drake there too, hiding in there in the red shirt. He'd been helping him try to get it started, and then that's where they realized they had a problem with the other. So. Anyway, we're getting ready to head down the road here. You can see a quick little shot of it sliding down the 2-lane road and just going really slow. That little feller's heavy, and it's just wanting to take it easy. But it pulled really nice, didn't have any problems, made it just nice and easy down through this really windy, steep 2-lane stuff, and then got out on the 4-lane, and it did great. We were able to run the interstate speed with no problem, and I think it's going to have a nice little dozer. It's a really exciting little machine. Um, I did find out where to look on the frame rail. The serial number tag was missing on this machine. So earlier I said I didn't know what year it was, but now we do know, and I'll dig that up and show you as we go a little further on this project where to find the serial number if you run into one of the tags missing, and then show you how to look it up as what year it is and stuff too. So anyway, here's just a little dab of us driving down the road, getting ready to get toward the 4-lane and get back to the shop. All right, here we are back at the shop and getting a little pressure washing done. It's real exciting to get to see it all clean. And boy, I tell you, the little machine's in really nice shape. It doesn't look like it saw a terribly hard life. Somebody put a entire new undercarriage on it too, new tracks, chains, rollers, sprockets, whole shoot match. So they're in really good shape. Here you're getting ready to see the final drive where it had bolts had sheared off, and I would imagine the way everything looks is from looseness. Anyway, like I say, I kind of reached up in there and felt those bushings. They all felt really good. The sprockets are nice. It's a Burco undercarriage, so it's an aftermarket unit. But anyway, it's a lot of life left in it. Good looking pads on it and stuff. And this machine was originally the orange and bright yellow paint scheme, and somebody later painted the darker yellow and brown paint scheme. So anyway, it's there we have it. All right, another quick thing to point out, you kind of see a little bit of dip in this side of the trailer. This side had a little bit of an injury there about the second reflector group of tape back there, and it was kind of bent down just a little bit there. So that was another thing we addressed whenever we did this trailer build. That's coming up soon. We straightened that out a little bit of showing how to do that in that video also, but And then we did some underframe bridging to make that nice and strong at the same time. But it was just about getting ready to get started doing this thing, and the rain came. And again, I apologize for the water bubbles on the screen there, but it was one of those just rolled in really quick. We were set and ready to get going, and then the rain started rolling. So that's kind of just the way it goes sometimes. But we all got good and wet, and that's kind of par for the course. But anyway, I should have, if I'd have known the rain was coming, I could have put something over that camera. But it's waterproof, didn't hurt it any. But it does make for some difficult to look through in the screen. But anyway, here we are taking the 244 and easing this little machine off, and we're putting boards down on the concrete all the way on into the shop so that the tracks don't tear up the concrete. So we really want to keep that alive and looking good as long as we can. So little 244 did a really good job easing this thing off, because without a winch on a wrecker or something, you can't really control the rate of descent. So it was really nice having that machine to ease it off of there. And we use it to straighten up a time or two also. So you'll probably see some of that as well. But anyway, real pleased with how that thing did. I think this was one of the very first jobs we did with the forks on this machine. You'll see a video there also of building those forks, and that turned out really nice. Those are a class 4 fork, and I think each tine is good for 7,000 pounds. So it's really excited to get to try them out on some other projects too, that we different jobs it needs to do, and they're adjustable. And also I think we also, I believe so, in the other video we have a little bit of the coating that with graphite paint, because around a sawmill everything ends up getting covered in dust, and the grease just holds that dust tight, and then you pressure wash it off, it gets all over the glass. But the graphite paint has been a really excellent thing for us on these forks, to keep it from both on this machine and little cat forklift, to keep the forks lubed onto the carriage so that it slides real nice and easy, but at the same time not letting the grease get on there, or not letting the grease hold the dust to it. And then when you pressure wash it, it doesn't fly all over everything. If you've ever done much pressure washing, you'll know what I mean about it getting into all of the glass, and it just sprays everywhere. It's just an absolute mess. So really do like having graphite on there, and so it does move very well. Those move phenomenally well. I'm not happy about it. They are getting another set of the boards out, and put it in position here next. Slide it over a little bit, steer it into the spot there. We don't want to hurt that final drive or anything, tear something up. Again, really hoping nothing inside's bad. Your seams are going to tear that thing apart. You kind of see a little dab of orange paint. You can see it later too. That's where the master pin is. And anytime I find a master pin in these old pin on tracks, I always try to paint it real good. That way, if you're out in that deep bit of mud, it's a whole lot easier to wipe and find a little dab of paint from nothing. You go and try to find it from nothing. And you can also tell the end of the pin's made a little differently. So, but again, sometimes a little tricky to find it. That paint will live a good while down in that inside of the chain. So kind of helpful there. So here we are going to try to get this thing pushed on in. I think what happened, if I remember right, one of the chains, when you lifted that thing up, the chain came out from under the roller, because this thing doesn't have rock guards on it. So it let the chain slide off, and there you go. You can see it's going to ease it. Took the forklift and picked it up on the back there, and kind of ease that chain back under the roller. Got real good. I think that little dozer's going to make just a dandy little machine for him there. He's got a little wood lot there at his farm. He's got a really nice place over there, and got a sawmill and stuff, and I think it's going to come in real handy for him. He can maintain his roads with it and skid some logs. It's got a nice little winch on the back of it, so he can get in there and skid stuff up to the next road. And like I say, I'm real tickled for him. I think that's going to make a nice little machine. Of course, a friend of mine that sold it, it was in his way, and it's kind of a sad story there. His dad had loaned it to a guy that was wanting to get in the logging business, and he was running it, and I mean, he got it, but his dad didn't charge him a dime to use it, and guy called and said, "Hey, your dozer's in the woods broken," and then left the country. Couldn't find him anymore. And it's sad when you always try to help people, and I'm guilty of it too. And sometimes it comes back to bite you, and it got them. He had to go send a roll back and get it out of the woods, and then it's broken, and it was just a sad deal. I really hate it when things like that happen. But anyway, he was really interested in getting rid of the machine, and my other buddy here was real interested in getting it. So I just love it when that all works out well. And anyway, we're going to try to help him get that thing fixed. And he was going to take it to his house and work on it there, but just didn't really have anything there to handle it near like what we did here as far as getting it unloaded. And sometimes that can be a real problem, getting it off a trailer and with, again, nothing in it working, running at all. So I'm pretty excited to get started in on this thing and get some bolts retrieved. We've got a couple different things in mind for retrieving those bolts. That's, again, Mr. Treadweather. He's our welding instructor, and he's got lots of experience dealing with broken fasteners as well, so that'll come in real handy. And of course, here we have torches and welding machines and everything we need there. And maybe hopefully we'll get to show you several different techniques to get some bolts out. I'm sure that, inevitably some will be more difficult than others, and so maybe we'll get a chance to show you some of from the very easy ways to get them out, to maybe even getting welding some nuts on and washers on, and again, maybe we'll get to show some interesting different ways to get those out, and maybe learn something there too. But anyway, here we are getting this thing just doing the final position, getting everything in place. The chain was held up. I'm sorry, the blade was held up by a chain that Chad left us there, and I was just going to run it back to him this afternoon, the afternoon of this video, I'll say. So here we are getting the blade all there, getting some blocking in position, and going to lift this blade and unhook the chain so that I don't have his chain all tied up. And it's like I say, everything went well, and it was a lot of fun. I enjoy going on these little recovery missions. It's a lot of fun. It's interesting stuff. What I'm doing here is moving these blocks around to form more of a tower build instead of just stacking skinny ones on top of each other, because sometimes they'll fall over. This way they won't creel or twist and let them all fall down. So there we are, setting her down on there, and they're doing a fine job getting them the final placement right where. Had a little bit of funniness coming up here with the chain talk. It's kind of one of those inside funny things. Always trying to always trade up any chance you get when there's tools being around. And of course, we were very careful to get his back to him. But
Mr. Bennett, you had the best looking chain, right?
Of course. Regardless, no, kid, yeah. Mr. Brown, I'm tickled for you. Good looking machine, whatever it is. Yeah.
Alright, let's take us a quick little walk around this machine, take a quick peek at it, let you look it over real good on the ground level. It's again a little 450 case in the 70s there, and of course I'll show you how to look up the serial number up. But it's made it to its spot to be worked on there. We positioned it here so we can get the forklift all around it real easy, and get to it and get this track broken and get it all wrapped back up on there real nice. But anyway, hope you enjoyed today's video, and had a great time getting this thing brought over here. And again, we'll catch you on the next one.